Welcome to the Business Therapy Show. Have you ever wondered how to secure government contracts? Stay tuned for our next guest, who is actually a government contract specialist. You do not want to miss this.
With over 17 years of experience as an entrepreneur, Brandon Powell knows what it feels like to struggle while navigating the market. Likewise, whether you have just started your company or been dominating your industry for over 15 years, we all have needed clarity and inspiration. Regardless of your industry, profession, or service, the Business Therapy Show was created to showcase your journey. You have a story to tell. We are excited to discover how you have navigated the market, overcome roadblocks, and gained business clarity during moments of darkness. Welcome to the Business Therapy Show.
Hey, welcome once again to the Business Therapy Show. I'm your host, Brandon Powell. One of the things I love about this platform for the Business Therapy Show is it's a chance for me to just listen to the journey of our guests who are entrepreneurs, professionals who have just gone through life, ups and downs, triumphs, valleys, successes, and moments of darkness, as I like to call it. And they found a way to find clarity or are going through that process themselves. And it's a joy to me to just have them on the show, to listen to their story. And I hope that you enjoy this as well. For those that have been tuning in, we appreciate you for your support. And for those that are watching this on YouTube, feel free to subscribe and like and comment and engage with our guests. So without further ado, I should say, I want to introduce you to a guest who is a little nervous, but don't let that fool you. She is amazing. She is more than capable to assist you with your business needs, and which you'll find out more about that. But I want to introduce to you today, Miss LaShunda Griffin.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right. LaShunda, I know you're a little nervous, but I want to tell you guys that are watching this video, you won't meet a more genuine, more connected person who cares about people. And for those that are here in the live studio audience, which you can't verify this if you're watching this video, but we have thousands of people in the audience. We have trained them to be very quiet, but they're here to support her. And I am extremely excited to have her here with us today. But you won't meet a more genuine, kind-hearted person. And she prepares well. We were talking about in preparation for the taping today. And I knew that she was a little nervous. But I said, hey, just trust the fact that you prepared. And it's more about just being able to just let the authenticity show through that I know that she has. And so with that being said, LaShunda, I want to ask you the first question on my mind today. Who is LaShunda Griffin, and what has been the most exciting part of your professional journey?
Who is LaShunda Griffin? That's a complicated question because I am still in the process of figuring out who I am personally. I have been quite a lot of things. I've been a mom, which I still am. I was a teenage mom. I spent 30 years in education, and now I'm transitioning to the business world. So in those different transitions and different pieces of my life, I've become different people. Unfortunately, but fortunately, part of my life I spent living up to others' expectations, having this facade that I am perfect and I will make sure that everything is great. In the process of worrying about everybody else, but not necessarily myself, I've had to relearn who I am because I kept a facade for so long of who it was that I thought others thought I should be, that I didn't really know who I am. So fortunately, but unfortunately, I am learning who I am. So that is a question I can't quite answer, but I'm happy. I am enjoying this new career path that I am on, and I'm ready to take on the world, whatever that is that comes my way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want you to take over the world and the galaxy, all the way to Pluto.
I'll take
all of it. Yeah. You're more than capable. You know, I think in your explanation of your journey and who you are, I would imagine that there are a lot of people who can relate, finding identity, finding what path should be yours as opposed to what is projected onto you that you should do. What I heard in that also is that and I know friends and family who do this. We have a tendency to carry that weight, and it's making me think of a question. Obviously, that's not on the script, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Is when's the last time you've had permission to just feel human, not be strong or weak, but just be human?
Now, right now, I am able to be human, whatever that looks like. I don't know what that looks like, but this is where I'm at. I am right now in this state and in this place and time of my life. I am embracing just being human, and the friends and family that I have are allowing me to do that. So
That's important, because sometimes our environment expects us to be strong, expects us to be resourceful, expects us to know all the answers. How many times have you been presented with a challenge? They bring it to you and say, they being the environment, whoever, and they say, well, I don't know how to solve this. And then in your mind, you're like, I don't know how to solve it either. But yet and still, you find a solution. How many times does that happen?
all the time. That's all the time, whether it be friends, family, when I was in education, kids every day. So that is just part of my life. And I think I've just adapted to it. And someone gives me a problem, I just figure out what the solution is. Even if I don't know, I'm like, oh, okay, sure. That's the problem. Got it. Not a problem. I got this. I'll come back to you and then fix it.
And so, we work together. So as the person that's trying to have your best interests at heart for you, we try to gently, ever so gently nudge that environment and say, hey, look, just like you use your critical thinking skills and you're resourceful, we want the environment to also do it. Because what happens for you, you end up pouring from an empty vessel.
Yes.
And I would imagine that if you're watching this, you're strong and had to do all the things, it doesn't feel great. Because when you're pouring from an empty vessel, sometimes they don't really necessarily know that that's what the case is, or they don't necessarily have to pay attention to that. They just want, hey, here's the cup. Can you keep pouring? Can you keep pouring? And so one of the things that we've talked about is just making sure that you get to a point where you can pour from your overflow. Because in the end, everyone benefits from that. You most certainly benefit from it, as well as the environment around you. So now back to the actual question. I'm not gonna keep veering off.
It's okay. But I will say, in the they don't know, a lot of it is because I myself didn't show that. Cool. So it's hard to expect sometimes someone to know that I'm struggling or to know that I am in a not so good space. If, again, back to the facade that I had is, oh, I'm great. I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. So I can't put all that on them. I put some of it, right? Like sometimes you still just check in with me. But a lot of it is I projected that to them. So that was part of what they had to go with.
Yeah, that's fair. And I'm a little biased. So I do understand it. Remind me again, you have siblings?
Yes.
What birth order do you fall in?
I'm the oldest.
Oldest, okay.
There's 7 years and 10 years between my siblings.
Okay. So you also that leadership component, being the oldest?
Yes.
Yep, understood. So let me ask you this question then. How would you say failure has helped shape your skills along your professional journey?
I would say failure has shaped me in the fact of it's making me have to grow.
Okay.
Because I'm failing at a few things, and because I'm learning, so I'm failing. I'm also growing, so I'm trying to embrace what that looks like. Because for the longest, I've had a fear of failure. I still have a fear of failure. Let's not think that I don't. I still have a fear of failure, but I am trying to navigate the path of failure just means that I can grow. So if I can grow, I can help others grow. So what is that really going to look like?
Yeah. I like that. Well, I will admit to you, being in entrepreneurship, whether full-time or part-time, it just comes with the territory, unfortunately. But yet, fortunately, because it's almost like the saying the word no, it didn't work, or no, you can't proceed, or no, it's the opposite of yes. And so it can be very informative. It reminds me of a quote that I heard years ago by a mentor. He said, "I don't fear failure." He said, "I fear succeeding at things that don't matter." And I was like, wow. And because I heard him say that live, I couldn't steal credit for it. So I make sure to acknowledge that it was a mentor at the time. He said it, but it just made a lot of sense. It doesn't mean that it doesn't feel uncomfortable, but that's where courage comes in, right? Because you're saying, okay, in the presence of that fear, the uncertainty, the doubt, the risk, let me at least take that next step forward. And so, and then I would say also it's information, good, bad, or indifferent. It's information. If you study the information that has been presented to you, say, hey, it didn't work. Well, why didn't it work? Let me study that. Let me understand that. And because we don't want it to happen again, right?
Correct.
So I think it's par for the course. I certainly have experienced plenty of failures, or I call lessons, and some lessons are more expensive than others.
Tell me about it.
I wish some of the lessons were on clearance, they weren't as expensive, but yet and still we feel those, and hopefully we're able to learn from them. With that being said, who would you say has been there for you to provide clarity in the darkest rooms, so to speak, where you didn't have much clarity, you couldn't see where you're going in life? Who would you say has provided the most clarity for you?
I have an amazing support system. Family, friends, coworkers have all been supportive to me in different times of my life. And those that have been with me know that I've had some struggles, some severe traumas. And I've had a lot of happy times too. But they've all stuck with me through them. And sometimes with traumas comes behaviors that are not always the best. And to know that my friends and family, once we were able to establish, oh, these are trauma responses, and this is sometimes why I respond in a certain way, they stuck with me. They love me, even though I may act in a certain way or behave in a certain way. So again, I can't pinpoint one person, because I've had an amazing support system my entire life, that no matter what's going on, they show up. When I really use my words, and I like to say use my words, when I use my words and I say help, or I say just hey, or sometimes I go dormant and quiet, they support me no matter, even on crazy stuff I want to do. They'll be like, okay. So.
Well, that's a wonderful thing to have a support system. And it speaks to the kind of almost the benefit of you pouring into so many others in your environment, that you can count on them to reciprocate in some capacity. We need it, especially for those that have the muscle of being strong and being there and being resourceful. I would usually say by the time we are like whispering that we need help, it's gotten there, right? Because we're accustomed to identifying a challenge and then trying to solve it internally. And so I'm very grateful to hear that. I'm very grateful that you have that in your life. Okay, so let me ask you this then. Why do you think people have a hard time maximizing their potential? Because with you having your support system, it helps you recover, helps you to try again, and then, of course, you continue to grow and develop. So why do you think that some people have a hard time maximizing their potential?
Fear, right?
Okay.
Same thing with myself sometimes, because when we are afraid of things, whether it be a fear of failure or even fear of success, as the gentleman said, fear just overcomes. And once fear overcomes, it just kind of stabilizes you, and it makes you stop. I mean, you and I have had conversations where I don't want to do this. I'm not perfect enough. I don't want to put my business out there yet because everything is not great. Well, that's more, I'm afraid. So if they are afraid, then they may just kind of stable themselves into a space of now you're not moving forward. So I've also learned that I have to overcome these fears and I have to just put myself out there and I just have to do it, right? If I do it, I fail, guess what? And now I can grow from it. And that only means that not only will I grow, but those around me will grow as well because I'm able to say, hey, this is what happened to me and now this is what I learned from it and this is now what it is I'm choosing to do. So did I answer that?
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. So far, you're getting A pluses on all the questions.
Absolutely. I was in education for a long time. I expect nothing less.
Absolutely. And that reminds me that fear it can be paralyzing. I have had my fears. I think sometimes it's also with the unknown as well. When you don't know the outcome or the potential risk or reward of something, it can create that hesitation and that fear. It reminded me of another quote. I like to read a lot of books. It reminded me of a quote that said, fear is faith in the worst that could happen. Because it's a sense of something that hasn't manifested, but you believe it potentially could. So it's the opposite of, what we know as regular faith, faith in the things that could come. And so that fear can happen. We all have it in some degree or capacity, but we do the best that we can to manage it. And so, all right, well, let me ask you this, Dan. Tell me about a time you helped inspire someone on their professional journey. What was the most challenging part of that process?
Well, honestly, that would be even just where I am now in my own personal career. I had a friend who was in the process of getting ready to start a construction company and asked me if I would assist because he wanted to do government contracts. And I was like, I don't even know what that is. But at the same time, I knew I was looking for an exit strategy already out of education because I had been in there for so long and was done with education. I thought, okay, I'll just kind of help you a little bit, So I just kind of learned everything, right? So it was, because when I said, first of all, I didn't know anything about construction. Let's start there. And then I didn't know anything about the business world because the education world is a lot different from the business world. In the education world, you just give. And the business world is like, no, this is my stance and this is what I'm taking. This is what I'm doing. So I had to reevaluate, could I do that? But then myself, I took it as, you know what? I'm helping somebody. That's how I had to look at it. So then in my joy and passion and purpose for helping others made it where, oh, I got this. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is that they're going to need to do to be successful, I do know how to do that. If I know how to do anything, I know how to be a support person. So let me support them in this journey and learn what it is that I need to learn so that they can be successful. And in turn, they then said, once we kind of got everything off the ground and learned about government contracts, was, you did this. Like, you did this from nothing. Like, you figured this out on your own. You need to start a business. And here is your exit strategy. Let's start you an LLC and get you started. And I was like, whoa, you're taking me too fast. But then he was right. And a couple other people he referred with, like, oh, I just need help with this. And before long, I just realized, oh, wait, I can do this. Okay, here I go again, trying to be afraid. And because I haven't presented myself to the world perfect, I don't want to do it. But no, let me just go ahead. So the challenge was, all that to say, the challenge was learning how to do a job that I'd never even really dove into or even had any desire. And then the challenge was putting myself out there and asking for help from other people that I knew that could, oh, you're in the business world, help me navigate this new world so that I can navigate it for them.
Absolutely. So it sounds like you guys inspired each other.
I would say so, yes.
Yeah. And I also hear a lot of transferable skills. So you spent 30 years in the education system, but you also spent time around people.
Yes, I love it.
Empowering, inspiring them, solving problems. So one can almost say that some of those things in your journey almost kind of prepared you for the next transition. And with that being said, I want to explore just for a little bit. Tell me what you enjoy so far about this journey. Tell us the company name and tell us a little bit about what you enjoy with what you do now?
Okay. So the name of my company is LG Professional Contracts, and I help people from anywhere from start their LLC to getting themselves prepared and ready to bid on government contracts, whether it be state, local, or federal. What I enjoy most about this new endeavor that I'm on and new venture is I still get to help people. I spent so much time helping young children. Like at one point when I was in education, I was in the elementary school world, and then I went to the high school world. And it was about just helping people. So once I could realize that in this part of the business, though it's the business world, I keep saying business world, education world, I'm able to help people grow. I'm helping them start their business. I'm helping them expand their business. I'm helping them make a lot of money if that's what they want to do. And I'm helping them gain knowledge that they didn't know. Because just like I didn't know anything about government contracts or know that there was so much money to be made, that when you don't know, you just don't know.
Right.
So the fact of me being able to empower people with knowledge of saying, hey, did you know the government buys every single thing. You name it, the government buys it. Your business can actually help the government. So let me help you help your business. And so it just was help. I think that's, I'm going to say something.
I think because you reconciled and found the correlation between both worlds, it took a lot of the formality out of it. Like, oh, can I be a business owner? Can I be an entrepreneur? Really, to be a business owner and an entrepreneur is to be a helper, a problem solver. But you've been that most of your life. And so taking off the official labels, I don't think that matters as much. As long as to you, you know you're basically doing the same thing. It just, the terminology just may be a little bit different. And so, but the outcomes are the same. You're causing people to feel better about themselves. They're accomplishing the goals that they want. You've been doing that. And so I would say that's one of the reasons why I encourage you, because I'm like, no, you're doing this. You've been doing it. So I'm proud to see that you are seeing the correlation, because sometimes it's not just about the what, but then you can see the why.
Yes.
Yeah, you can see the why. You're still being who you were. And I think that's a continuous process. We're always continually discovering who we are, right? And I think that's a wonderful thing. Okay, so let me ask you this then. What would you say has been the most fulfilling experience for you this year so far?
This year, saying yes to starting my own business. Saying yes to still being able to help people, and refinding my passion again in something. Because I feel like if I have passion, then I can find the purpose, and then I can find the power in doing these things. Like, I love that. Passion, purpose, and power. Those are things that I personally need in order to feel successful or to feel some type of worth. I spent a long amount of time, and sometimes still today, with struggling with self-worth. So then when I see other people excited and happy about what they do, or knowing that I have helped them transition into something, then it makes me feel like, oh, okay, I was here for a reason to help them. I did this. So then that's kind of what feeds my soul back and feeds my cup back to help others and empower them in just being able to be great, whatever that looks like for them.
I love that. Okay, well, one final question I want to ask you is this. What advice would you offer to someone who is just struggling to find that clarity on their professional career path? What kind of advice or thoughts would you share with them?
I would say surround yourself with people. Surround yourself with different types of people, not just the people that are in your same career, but lots of people. My friends would call me the people collector, because I just would collect people. I love networking. I love talking to people. And when I'm talking to them, I'm not necessarily talking to them for my own personal gain. It is, I'm talking to this person because I don't know if I will meet someone along the way that may need this person. So if I've surrounded myself by a multitude of different types of people, then that means when others come into my life and they're like, oh, you know what? I know somebody. Or I may not know them all the way personally, but I met somebody. Here's their information. And the fact of surrounding yourself with a multitude of people and different types of people helps you grow. Not only do you grow in your own path, if you're surrounding yourself with people that are in your career path, but when you surround yourself with people in different paths, you learn other things from them. Like whether it be, I'm not in finance, but if I have someone that's in finance and they're in my circle, guess what? Now I have some type of financial literacy. I can go to them and say, hey, how do I invest this? Or what does this really look like? Or if I just surrounded myself with just the people in my little path, then that limits me, and that limits my growth, and then that limits the growth that I can give to others. So I would say surround yourself with as many people as you can.
That sounds great. That's great advice.
Oh, I try.
LaShunda, be careful. You're starting to sound like a business owner. With that being said, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. I want to make sure that people can get in touch with you, whether to just be able to connect with you and just learn more about your journey. And of course, I'm sure you'd be interested in hearing them as well. Or if they want to know more about your services that you offer, there may be people out here today that are watching who have considered, contracts, but they don't know much about it. And you've dove into that world so far, and you've seen some early success. And so, talk to our audience today and let them know how they can get in touch with you.
You can get in touch with me by calling me at 214-600-1502. You can reach me on my website at www.lgcontracts.com. My email is LaShunda, that's LASHUNDA, at lgcontracts.com.
All right. Well, there you have it, guys. I'm so grateful to have LaShunda on the show. I hope that you listened throughout this interview today, that you can even do it scared. You can do it timid. You can still do it while you're discovering, right? You don't have to have it all figured out. And if you're interested in being a part of today's show, feel free to visit our website at www.therapyfirm.com/show. Submit an application to be considered on the show. We'll walk you through the process. If you want to have visibility on the show while we tape and air the episodes, feel free to reach out to us. With that being said, thank you so much, LaShunda, for being on the show. You did an amazing job. You get an A++.
I'll take it.
And so with that being said, we thank you again for tuning in with us. We look forward to seeing you soon in the future, whether we network with you or meet with you online. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.